It's more important to do big things well than to do small things perfectly. He who lives by the crystal ball will eat shattered glass. Do not feel bad about your mistakes or those of others. Love them. Remember that 1, they are to be expected. 2, they're the first and most essential part of the learning process. And 3, feeling bad about them will prevent you from getting better. To make money in the markets, you have to think independently and be humble. Don't worry about looking good. Worry about achieving your goals. Principles are what allow you to live a life consistent with those values. Principles connect your values to your actions. Success is achieved by people who deeply understand reality and know how to use it to get what they want. The converse is also true. Idealists who are not well grounded in reality create problems, not progress. By and large, life will give you what you deserve, and it doesn't give a damn what you like. So it is up to you to take full responsibility to connect what you want with what you need to do to get it, and then to do those things. Meditation, more than anything in my life, was the biggest ingredient of whatever success I've had. School typically doesn't prepare young people for real life, unless their lives are spent following instructions and pleasing others. In my opinion, that's why so many students who succeed in school fail in life. When you think it's too hard, remember that in the long run, doing the things that will make you successful is a lot easier than being unsuccessful. If you can stare hard at your problems, they almost always shrink or disappear, because you almost always find a better way of dealing with them than if you don't face them head on. The more difficult the problem, the more important it is that you stare at it and deal with it. More than anything else, what differentiates people who live up to their potential from those who don't is a willingness to look at themselves and others objectively. The more you think you know, the more close-minded you'll be. If you don't own gold, you know neither history nor economics. Remember that experience creates internalization. Doing things repeatedly leads to internalization, which produces a quality of understanding that is generally vastly superior to intellectualized learning. Almost everything is like a machine. What matters most is that the people you work with share your values. The best advice I can give you is to ask yourself what you want, then ask what is true, and then ask yourself what should be done about it. I believe if you do this, you will move much faster towards what you want to get out of life than if you don't. People who confuse what they wish were true with what is really true create distorted pictures of reality that make it impossible for them to make the best choices. I believe that for the most part, achieving success, whatever that is for you, is mostly a matter of personal choice, and that initially, making the right choices can be difficult. I also believe that everyone needs to think independently and make their own decisions on what makes the most sense. Radical transparency fosters goodness in so many ways for the same reasons that bad things are more likely to take place behind closed doors. Ask yourself whether you have earned the right to have an opinion. Opinions are easy to produce, so bad ones abound. Knowing that you don't know something is nearly as valuable as knowing it. The worst situation is thinking you know something when you don't. When growth is slower than expected, stocks go down. When inflation is higher than expected, bonds go down. When inflation is lower than expected, bonds go up. An economy is not a complicated thing. It just has a lot of moving parts. People who worry about looking good typically hide what they don't know and hide their weaknesses, so they never learn how to properly deal with them, and these weaknesses remain impediments in the future. You'll see that excuses like "that's not easy" are of no value, and that it pays to push through it at a pace you can handle. Like getting physically fit, the most important thing is that you keep moving forward at whatever pace you choose, recognizing the consequences of your actions. Successful people ask for criticism of others and consider its merit. Be wary of the arrogant intellectual who comments from the stands without having played on the field. I believe that the biggest problem that humanity faces is an ego sensitivity to finding out whether one is right or wrong and identifying what one's strengths and weaknesses are. Watch out for people who think it's embarrassing not to know. You should have a strategic asset allocation mix that assumes that you don't know what the future is going to hold. Meditation helps you stay in a calm, clear-headed state so that when challenges come at you, you can deal with them like a ninja, in a calm, thoughtful way. When you're centered, your emotions are not hijacking you. Nature gives us pain as a messaging device to tell us that we are approaching, or that we have exceeded our limits in some way. Look at what caused people to make a lot of money, and you will see that usually it is in proportion to their production of what the society wanted. To test if you are worrying too much about looking good, observe how you feel when you find out you've made a mistake or don't know something. The main reason I write the daily observations is because I want to know where I'm wrong. So lots of times if somebody points something out, it helps me, and I want to have a diversified bet of uncorrelated bets. If it didn't happen in your life before, then you're not paying attention. You don't think it's possible, but almost all important events never happened in your life before. I believe that understanding what is good is obtained by looking at the way the world works and figuring out how to operate in harmony with it to help it evolve. There are two main drivers of asset class returns: inflation and growth. I believe that one of the best ways of getting at truth is reflecting with others who have opposing views and who share your interest in finding the truth rather than being proven right. I could see that making judgments about people so that they are tried and sentenced in your head without asking for their perspective is both unethical and unproductive. So I learned to love real integrity and to despise the lack of it. I believe that dreamers who simply imagine things that would be nice but are not possible don't sufficiently appreciate the laws of the universe to understand the true implications of their desires, much less how to achieve them. There is giant untapped potential in disagreement, especially if the disagreement is between two or more thoughtful people. Some people who are creative are not reliable, and vice versa. Some see big pictures, while others see details. All of them are important to have in well-orchestrated teams. To be successful, We need everyone to think independently and work through disagreement to decide what's best. There's a strong tendency to get used to and accept very bad things that would be shocking if seen with fresh eyes. There is an excellent correlation between giving society what it wants and making money, and almost no correlation between the desire to make money and how much money one makes. Constantly probe the people who report to you and encourage them to probe you. When two intelligent parties disagree, that's when the potential for learning and moving ahead begins. If you're not failing, you're not pushing your limits. And if you're not pushing your limits, you're not maximizing your potential. Any damn fool can make it complex. It takes a genius to make it simple. In trading, you have to be defensive and aggressive at the same time. If you are not aggressive, you are not going to make money. And if you are not defensive, you're not going to keep money. The greatest gift you can give someone is the power to be successful. Giving people the opportunity to struggle rather than giving them the things they are struggling for will make them stronger. Choose your habits well. Habit is probably the most powerful tool in your brain's toolbox.